Hey there, I'm Taylor with Radiate Prints, and today we're interviewing David Mayo to talk about his businesses, everything from wakeboarding to streaming services, and we talk about the successes and the failures, and I think you're really going to like it.
Hopefully people are familiar with wakeboarding or at least surfing or snowboarding. So it's a board you ride on the water, sideways. Traditionally, you were pulled behind a boat.
Right.
There's also cable systems there's an overhead suspended cable that will pull you around either in a circle or back and forth on a linear cable
So
system.
you wouldn't have to have a boat.
So you wouldn't have to have a boat. So you could do that over a pond, or some of them are on public bodies of water. But it's a picture like a power line. Kind of, you got two poles and then the cable's suspended between the poles. An electric motor drives you back and forth.
When did that come about?
So the first one, a guy named Bruno Rixson invented it back in the 60s for water skiing. So
I didn't realize it was around there for that long.
Yeah, so over in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the kind of full-size cable system that goes in a circle. And the ones we make are linear cables.
Okay, gotcha. What's the biggest cable you've ever made? I'm just curious.
The longest one, about 900 feet.
Wow. So, gosh, is that 9 football fields, or am I doing math wrong?
You're doing math wrong. Yeah, that's three football fields. Longest one we have is in Arkansas. Oh, wow. Yeah.
How did they find you?
I get calls from people all over the world. So I've quoted systems in Dubai and Russia back when that was allowed. We've got a cable system on the Nile in Africa.
No way.
A bunch of them in Australia, New Zealand. Yes, they're all over the world.
So do you install all of them?
Customers can do self-installation, but we do most of them. We do most of them in the U.S.
Okay.
At least.
So if someone from Australia called, who would install it?
I'd probably go install it if I could get them to let me cover, if they'd cover my travel to go to Australia.
That'd be cool.
Probably take a small crew over and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this?
I've been into wakeboarding since I was a kid. So I guess kind of entrepreneurship and wakeboarding started about the same time because I wanted a boat. And I had to figure out a way to get a boat. So I started a lawn care business when I was like 14, 15 in North Raleigh, and got a bunch of kids working for me and a bunch of yards all
at 14?
Around. Yeah, at 14. And so saved up the money and bought my boat when I was 15. I couldn't drive it to the lake yet. So I had to get upperclassmen at school to drive the boat, and then I'd have to back it up.
So you're telling me you bought a boat before you could drive?
Yeah, I had a boat before I could drive. And so they'd drive to the lake, and then I'd have to back the boat in because they didn't know how to back the boat up. So we'd switch when we got to the lake.
Who were you hanging out with?
I mean, I went to a small Christian high school.
Okay.
And so pretty much everybody would go on the boat.
Oh, cool.
So it was like an after-school activity is who was going on David's boat that day. So
I guess they wanted to be friends with you, and they were like upperclassmen. Because I feel like usually there's some tension there, but
we played sports together, and wasn't usually a tension.
I guess I did. We did public high school, so I just remember
we had 20 in my graduating class.
Oh wow!
And I married one of the girls from school. So my wife's from school. So so it was pretty small, but it got really into wakeboarding because of that. And I tried one of the competitors' cable systems. I was terrible, didn't know what I was doing. This is several years later, and I went to the guy who owned the cable, and I was like, hey, this is awesome. I'm going to build one at my house. He was like, yeah, everybody says that, but nobody can figure out how to do it. so I was like, yeah, I'll work on that. So I went home and had a friend of mine that was an engineer and started talking conceptually with him about how you would go about doing it. And at this point, I didn't know anything. I didn't know motor control systems, any of that.
How old were you at this point?
I think I was 23. Okay. So I was probably around 23. Okay. So it was the year Lonnie was born. Yeah. So I ordered some of the stuff I knew that I would need, and kind of separately built this frame system that would attach to the pole. I didn't look at any of the competitors' stuff. And so to give you an idea, the competitor system at the time, it cost about $60,000.
Okay.
And I built my first one for $2,500.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a completely different design.
Yeah.
Did everything simplified basically, which when you simplify something, it ends up being, it doesn't break down as much. It's more reliable.
Right.
So there were a lot of benefits too of doing it the easy way.
Right.
So went through several iterations. I learned to do motor control systems like on my dryer because it was the only place that had the 220 outlet. And then I built a really long extension cord out to the pond from my dryer. So the first one like literally ran off the plug from my dryer.
So you just had like a super long extension cord going out of the pond?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I took 3 regular extension cords and kind of wired them all together.
Say no.
Yeah.
Be like, no, man.
Yeah. So at this point, I wasn't planning on this being a business. I just wanted a cable system in my yard that I could ride on. The very first one I did, it was a 2.5 horsepower motor. And I had no idea. That wasn't even close to what you needed to be able to do it. So I stand up there. Oh, and by the way, everything ran off the laptop at that point.
Oh, wow.
So you just imagine you're out in the sun and you got to click forward with like this cursor, and then you had to go over here and click reverse. And so it was super dangerous, but I was like, I'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
And we go out there and I'm ready. I got the handle. And the guy driving, I was like, all right, go. And it goes and the rope gets tight and the whole thing just cuts off. I was like, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So it would go by itself, but it wouldn't pull anybody because the motor and like everything was too small at that point. So 2 more iterations later, I got it so you could ride from the laptop. And then pretty quickly figured out that's not a great long-term solution. It's like clicking buttons on your laptop. So I built a control system that was that you could run with your hands, and so everything was built into the system to ramp speed up and slow it down. So it was really simple to use.
Okay.
And yeah, just started wakeboarding on it, and a few people found out that I had done it. And so I had people start reaching out to me like, hey, this is really cool. We saw that you do this. Would you sell me one? And
before you go forward, how long was it from like when you made your first like prototype, whatever you want to call it, to like success? People start reaching out and asking them to do it.
It's probably about a year. Okay. Well, it was quicker than that. It was probably six weeks or so. People started reaching out.
Oh, wow. From like you making prototype to like finished product. Okay.
And I kept saying no, like I don't want, because I was worried about the liabilities.
Yeah.
There's a lot of liability in something like that.
For sure.
And finally, this guy called me up from the Midwest. He's in Missouri, and he was like, "Hey, I really want to build one of these on my pond. Would you build one for me?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm just really not into it." He's like, "I mean, I'll make it worth your while." I was like, "Okay." So he flew out with his son, and they rode on the cable, loved it. We had a fun weekend just riding and hanging out.
Yeah.
We ended up becoming business partners later.
Okay.
On the wakeboard cable.
Cool.
So he did distribution for the Midwest. I had 2 other people reaching out at the same time, and so once I decided to do his, I was like, okay, I'll do all of them. And so the terms have always still are 50% on order, 50% on shipment before shipment.
Right.
So all the money is in before the cable is built.
Okay.
So I woke up one day and like I've now got 3 orders in. So I've got tens of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank, no engineered drawings, no product. Like I don't have anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got to start actually building a production model of this.
Yeah.
And so I started reaching out to people I knew in machining and in steelworking, and got the thing together in 6 weeks for delivery.
Wow.
Yeah, and then started installing them. And the first ones, I installed all of them before I sent them at my house to make sure that they worked.
Okay, so you're basically doing 2 installs.
So
one
I
at your
did
house
2
and then one at
installs
the
on the
customer.
first ones, yeah. And they're a lot of work. An install is a lot of work.
Yeah.
A little less work at my house where I know where all my tools are, but still a lot of work.
So what does it look like to go install in like another state or something?
It's usually pretty fun. The people I work with are pretty cool. They're wakeboarders usually, and a lot of people are very hospitable. I've gotten to stay in some really cool places. Yeah, people are usually really nice. Usually make dinner for us.
So what is like your favorite install you've ever done? If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, we just did one in Texas that was really fun. So this guy's got a cabin that kind of ends in the lake. Really nice setup.
Okay.
It's a beautiful spot. So that one was fun. And then we've got one in where's that? Mississippi, that the guy's got his kind of vacation lake house there. And that place is really cool too. And he made some really good steaks for us for dinner. So that one's probably up there too.
Yeah. You know, you said you had like all this money in your bank account and we're trying to figure out like the actual, like, what are the plans to do this? What was that process like?
So I was willing to sacrifice some margin to make sure it was right and it went fast. So probably paid a little bit more for the first orders and it didn't shop around very much, kind of picked a supplier and went with it based off of if they could get it done in time.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of the process.
Okay. And are you, I guess over time, like, did you end up, like, do you have one supplier who you get all of your stuff from? Did you find like certain people for certain things? There's
some things that are just so hard to explain to someone else to do that I do them. Yeah. Or I'll hire a helper to come over and do them. And I've done pretty much every part of the process. So just to know how to do it. And then the stuff that I'm slower at or just it's more expensive for me to do, I'll outsource. So I outsource and have pretty much always outsourced the wheels and machining of the wheels because that's a pretty specialty part. And I now outsource welding as well, but I used to do the welding, or I'd have someone come over and we'd do the welding together.
Cool.
And I still do most of the electronic parts because it's pretty tough to explain to somebody how to do the electronics part, and then I do all the programming too.
People from other states were reaching out pretty quick. How did they find out that you were doing this?
Videos on message boards. So back then it wasn't as much on social media. So there was something called Wakeboard. And so a lot of people would get on discussion boards on Wakeboard.
So you just posted videos of your like rig in your backyard and what you're doing?
They're like, I got to get one of those. How do I get that?
That's how it went.
Okay. Well, what year was that?
2012.
Okay, so Facebook and stuff was starting to emerge, I guess.
It was there, but it was still an active community on message boards at that point. I
guess compared to today, like, how do people find you today?
Mostly social media, or website. So it's kind of interesting. You know, everybody talks about how hard it is to rank on Google. Mm-hmm. We ranked in the top spot within the first month.
Oh wow! Yeah. Back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't take long at all. And our especially at first when people were coming to the website, they weren't leaving. Like they were finding it from links on everywhere we put links. And they would come and like look at every page on the website. So Google ranked it really quickly because it was interesting. Yeah.
Huh. How much time were they spending on the website? Could you see?
I don't remember. It was probably 5 minutes because they were watching full videos on the website and they were reading all the page. And some of it was people trying to figure out how to do what we did and copy it. But yeah, it helped us rank really quickly. So we still rank pretty high.
Was YouTube a thing at the time? Like, did you post videos on YouTube of you guys doing this? Yeah,
they're terrible. Yeah, it's embarrassing. So for anyone listening to the podcast, don't go watch videos on there.
That's what they're immediately going to do, David.
I know. Well,
some people might already be watching this on YouTube. They're going to leave this and go look up
Wakeboard. So we did some professional. We did some more professional ones, and those are fine. But a lot of the first ones, especially before it was a company, it was just like I did a series of trick tutorials on how to do different types of flips and stuff.
Okay.
And those are embarrassing. Don't go watch those.
If it ranks you, it ranks you.
Yeah, that's true.
What's your best trick?
Probably a roll to blind or S-bend to blind.
For those of us who don't know what that is, can you
so a roll to blind, you do it's kind of a sideways backflip. And then backside 180 where you pass the handle behind your back.
This is all one thing?
One thing, yeah. So flip, spin. And then an S-bend to blind. An S-bend is like so a Rayleigh is when you extend your feet behind you. It's kind of like a Superman. It's that, but you do a full flip in the air while you're extended in that position. And then to blind means as you're coming down, you pass it behind your back.
Oh, wow.
All while on the water. On the board with your feet strapped in.
Well, hopefully you're above the water.
On the water. Yes, hopefully you're above
But
the water.
sometimes, yeah, I'm on the water,
Sometimes
hitting the water.
hitting the water, bouncing off the water.
Yeah.
So looking back on like that story of how you started, is there one thing that you think like this was the most challenging part about starting the wakeboard cable?
Mitigating risks. It was super scary at the beginning because there are a lot of ways you could get hurt doing this. So there's, you have 2,000-3,000 pounds of tension on a cable that at any time, something could happen. Someone could hook something up wrong. It could snap. You're hoisting hundreds of pounds of stuff 30 feet in the air. You're on lifts. You're on ladders. You've got 3-phase electric running to stuff that could shock people. And so like every part of it. And that's before you even get on the water and start doing tricks. Yeah. So that part was really scary, and I thought a lot about it all the time. And you've got product liability coverage that was really expensive, and that's probably the most challenging part is just getting over the actual risk of it. So most businesses, I think the scariest thing is market risk when you go in, making sure you have customers.
Right.
For this, it was like I just didn't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you had the customers. They wanted you before you even were ready to give it to them.
Mm-hmm. But I don't want that to sound like we're this huge company. I mean, it's a pretty niche market. There's not that many people in the world who have the means and a body of water, and they're into wakeboarding. So a lot of things have to line up.
True.
But if they do, they call us.
Yeah. And what would you say, like, there were people who were already doing this before you. What sets you apart from other competitors?
What I never want, so I'm also a faculty member at ECU in entrepreneurship. And what I always hate for my students to show up with is we want to be the cheapest option. That's what it is. We're the cheapest option by far. So it's more reliable and it's cheaper. So fewer breakdowns, fewer maintenance issues, and it's a fraction of the cost. So we sell the package for the unit for right now. It's $11,500 for what we call a 3-line cable. We're the only one that offers that. So all the things you want in a cable, we do it, and we do it for about a fifth of the cost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I bet they are cooking you steaks when you come.
Yeah. It's also really nice because you can dictate things like credit terms because like if you want to buy one for a fifth of the price, you need to pay us up front.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of businesses can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of difference. If you're 1/5 of the price, you can be like, yeah, you can send me that amount of money before I fly out there to see you.
Yep.
Fair.
So are most people who have you install them, are they usually individuals, or are they businesses or camps? Or?
Usually individuals and then some businesses. So a few are set up as businesses, and the businesses are really nice because they do their maintenance like they're supposed to.
Right.
Usually, they have spare parts on hand because they have to have them. Usually they're ordering 2 cables, so we're doing 2 at one time, and that helps with install too. So I have all the equipment out and all that. Yeah.
So a business is, I guess, charging people to come use it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any of those near here?
There used to be. So there was one in Aden.
Okay.
They sold the property, and he's running a different business down in Charlotte now.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Cool. Well, is there a decision you look back from starting and you're really glad you made that decision and it maybe changed the course of how things went?
Yeah, everything went as smoothly as you could expect something like that to go. I mean, there's been a few dangerous situations. There's been a couple customers that they were red flags, and I probably shouldn't have had them as customers. So doing it again, I'd probably make sure I didn't take on any customers that I didn't like.
What would you say is like a red flag?
If they. So I used to do this thing where I'd be like, hey, if I'm driving it to you, like you're in the eastern half of the U.S. and I'm driving out, just pay me when I get there for the last 50%. So it is on shipment. Like, hey, just write me a check when I get there so I don't have to deal. Well, that can get you into problems.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my business partner that was in the Midwest, he he sold a unit to a large commercial park, one of the biggest in his area, and they never paid him. So we had to go repo a cable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You just showed up and were like, oh,
Yep.
start taking it apart.
Yep.
That's so embarrassing
middle
for
of the-
them, not for you.
Yeah, in the
That's
middle
so
of the
embarrassing.
night, had to go in and take it down.
Why'd you do it in the middle
How'd
of the
you
night?
see it? Did you have
Well, 'cause
flashlights and stuff?
You're going in and you're taking it. Yeah, it's a repo.
Did you ever hear anything from them, or was
No, like they knew they didn't pay for
The
it.
cable was just there one day. They went to bed and then they woke up, it wasn't there, and they were like, well, I guess they came and got their cable.
Yep, that's how it went.
Oh, my.
is that the only time you've ever had to repo a cable?
Yeah, because I always have cash in hand,
Right.
and he did after that too.
Yeah, I'd be scared after that.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'm not even taking the supplies out until I have cash in hand.
yeah. And the one I had, that he didn't want to pay me. It was basically I finished up the installation in the middle of the night. It was like 10 at night, and everything was working. It was on, but it's on top of a pole, so it's hard to see the motor spinning and whatever. And he was like, I'm not gonna pay you until it's daytime and I can see it moving. I was like, no, that's not gonna work. and my wife was there, and she's like, be nice. I was like, well, I mean, the terms are before shipment, so this would be like before I left Greenville, you should have paid me.
So you wouldn't have seen it work in the first place.
Yeah, you wouldn't have seen it. Like, it's working. You can clearly see it working. You need to pay me.
You could probably hear it.
And he said no. And so I said, well, okay. So I walked over to my truck and started getting my tools back out. And so he walked over. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm taking the cable down. It's going back home with me. I was like, it's probably going to take me all night, but it's going back home. And he was like, oh, okay. And his wife was there too. She was like, oh, go ahead and pay him. So they paid me, and I went home. I mean, luckily he didn't cancel the check or anything. Cause, he could have done that.
Right.
But I would have gone back and taken that one back down too.
In the middle of the night, repo number 2.
Yep. Pretty irritating.
Why'd you be mad? Because you were probably working sun up to
Well, also
late.
we used to have this installation package that was called, I forget what we called it, but it was like where I would show up and direct people what to do.
Right.
But I wasn't doing all the work. So that was the plan. That's what he paid, it was like $500 or something.
Yeah.
So, no, it was $1,000. So that I was going to show up and just point people what to do for the day. Well, it turned out his crew didn't show up. And he was like, oh, can you help with this? And like, he just kept adding stuff on. And then he was like, everyone's scared to put stuff up on top of the pole. So then I had to do all the really hard stuff. So I basically did a full installation without getting paid for it to begin with.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
yeah, that one was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, we also know that you have another business called Fly High TV, and it looks like you're wearing one of the shirts we made for it.
Yep. So Radiate Prints did this for me.
So what did you end up using the shirts for?
Giveaways, and our sponsored riding team all has them, so they wear them to competitions and stuff. So we've got about 10 riders that compete on the team.
So Fly High TV is separate from the wakeboard cable. Tell us about that.
So it's basically Netflix, except for wakeboarding.
Oh, wow.
So eventually it'll be for a lot of other sports, but for right now it's wakeboarding.
Okay.
That's where I had the connections from the wakeboard cable, and yeah.
What made you want to start it?
So I sold some of the operation of the wakeboard cable, or at least offloaded a lot of the activities of it. So most of the manufacturing is offloaded off of me now. So mostly what I do now is marketing, and then I'm training people to do installations too. So
So you're not doing really installs much anymore.
So I won't be doing really much with the wakeboard cable except maybe some customer support and stuff like that. And then eventually you'll probably sell that part too and be out of the whole thing. So I was getting out of that, and I don't know. I'm crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why I did it. There's a lot of these old movies that people like to watch, kind of classic wakeboard films, and you can't find them anymore. They're on VHS and DVD, and some of them are on DVD.
What's your favorite one?
There's an old one called Hit It. That one was really good. And there's some newer ones that are really liked it. When I say newer, I mean like 2005, 2007. So like the tail end of the classics. There's one called The Truth that I really like, Justin Stevens' film. And there's a lot of really, really good stuff that people just couldn't access anymore.
Okay.
And you would see every now and then someone would upload one to YouTube or something like that. And I was like, this would be really cool if people could access this all in one point at one point. And a lot of the newer writers, they do edits.
Yeah.
So short form is really where a lot of the stuff has gone. Okay. And everyone complains that there's no long form content. But how do companies sell products? Like social media attention. So now everything's turned into 30 seconds to 2 minutes of writing. Yeah. So there's no story behind it. There's no culture of the sport, that kind of thing. So I wanted to do something to address that.
Okay. And how do people respond?
Positive is a little slower than I expected to scale that business. So I'd never done many businesses that were direct to consumer that were marketing efforts. So there was a lot of learning curve for me on how to go in and measure return on ad spend and stuff like that. And so, you're trying to get a single customer that's paying $7 a month. What's their lifetime value going to be? That stuff was much different than other businesses that I'd started. I'd helped a lot of people with those type of businesses, but I'd never done one myself.
Right. And let's pause here for a second. You've helped other people. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So I mentioned I'm over at ECU in entrepreneurship. That's really kind of my way of giving back. Okay. So kind of backwards. I make money with businesses, and then my way of giving back is my career. So I have a goal in my career to help 10,000 businesses. I'm at around 6,500 now. So
that's awesome.
About 4,000 of those are direct help, like me sitting down, giving a consultation to them. Some student businesses, some through consulting that I do as well. So when I say help businesses, that's what I mean. So, or through programs that I start to help businesses too. We might talk a little more about that later. So I'd seen this type of business, knew about it, but I just never done it.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds totally different from the wakeboard cable as far as like how you found, because before with wakeboard cable, it kind of sounds like you had something that you liked, they found you, and now you're trying to bring your product to people.
And the margin's really good in wakeboard cable. So you're making a lot on each sale. So you can put forth a lot of effort on each sale. Right. This one, you can't put forth but so much effort to get a sale. So like I can't go door to door and knock and sell people on fly high streaming subscriptions, which is always fun if you have a business where you can do that. That helps you get started faster. But I couldn't do that, so it's been a lot of digital stuff, a lot of social media. I'd never done that much on social media.
So are you doing all the social media yourself? Is someone else doing it?
No. It's kind of an interesting story as we started to scale up a little bit. So if you're doing a streaming service, there's two sides. You have to get the content, which meant licensing all of this content from the people who owned it. And so there's probably 80 different people that we license content from. And so all that had to happen first. And then on the other side, you have to have the subscribers. So the subscribers, there's several different strategies to get the subscribers. So enabling people like the writing team to go represent us, social media, ad spend on social media. So there's been several different strategies, but no, I don't do any of the social media myself. I've hired other professional wakeboarders to do that. So I'm not a professional wakeboarder. I do it as a hobby. And so the people who are professionals are really, really good at it, and they're respected. And so that's really who I need making that content.
And that's where the writing team comes in.
So theirs is more physical representation at places like contests, and when they're doing their social media, shout outs from their social media. Okay, so you've got I guess tell us what the writing team is. So it's just a sponsored team of writers. So we have a beginning team and an advanced team. And so beginner team is where we're just trying to get people excited about wakeboarding and get their first sponsorship. And there's not much money associated with that. If they bring on subscribers, they get a retainer off of whoever they get on. So, if they invite their buddies, and 5 of their buddies get a subscription, then they get like $3 a month per subscriber, like 15 bucks a month or something. And then they get and then they get 50% off of their subscription. So we can have quite a few of them. And hopefully it gets them excited, and then we give them some exposure on social media.
Okay.
And then the advanced team is like the professional riders. So there's a handful of them, and they compete in contests all over the world, and hopefully show up with our shirts on and point people to go there. And then so we pay a flat rate per subscriber that they bring on using a coupon code.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
What has been more successful when it comes to like bringing new subscribers on? Is it the team and like the physical representation, or is it your ad spend?
Actually, the most successful thing has been live events.
Really? Like on social media? Or like in person?
On Fly High TV.
Okay.
So we have a go live feature. So on Fly High, you can watch it on Roku or Fire TV or through the website.
Okay.
And then we have some features where like live chat while the event's going on. You can donate to certain causes or riders while the event's happening.
Oh, so it's like you're watching like a sporting event.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's been pretty successful. When we do one of those, we pick up a lot of subscribers usually.
Like Facebook Live.
Yeah, so we let people access it for free, and then a lot of the people who are accessing the live event for free will convert.
They'll turn
over.
into customers.
So that's been a good funnel.
Okay. So between like all the businesses that you have done over the years, which one would you say was the most challenging?
I think Fly High is the most challenging that I've done of businesses that worked. So there's businesses that didn't work. So like after I got my boat, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of driftwood. I should sell some driftwood. That one didn't work too well. There was I was like, people needed some sand for their horseshoe pits in North Raleigh, and so I'd pick some of that up while I was at the lake on my boat. So besides those things that were just stupid ideas, and I did a gutter cleaning service one time with like who wants a 15-year-old kid on top of their house?
Talk about liability.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at the time. So yeah, of businesses that actually worked, I think Fly High is the most challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then I started one called Compete on the Web. That was I learned a lot of stuff from, and that one didn't go anywhere, but it would have been a really big business had I have known a little bit more at the time.
What was it, and what did you learn from it?
So it was a do you know what Fiverr is?
Yeah.
So Fiverr is basically you hire a freelancer to come do a job. And at the time, there were a lot of different softwares that were being implemented, and it was hard to find people to do that. And so it was Fiverr before Fiverr existed. And I hired a developer from IBM. We were partners. In hindsight, I should have just spent money to accelerate development. So we got ready to launch the product. And so this was, we started doing testing. So literally made dollars, like a few dollars from it. And then Fiverr launched, and they were venture backed and had a ton of money. And so then everyone heard of Fiverr. We were literally a month too late on that business. It would have been $1 billion company.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very similar to what Fiverr is now.
Wow. And it was before Fiverr.
It was before Fiverr.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about this. We launched about the same time. Yeah, and they probably went 10 times faster and were 20 times better funded. But yeah, that one would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool. All right. Well, I feel like we can't close out without talking about the Power Entrepreneurship Challenge.
Sure.
So tell us what that is.
So the Pirate Challenge is a student pitch competition, and within the Miller School of Entrepreneurship at ECU. So it was one of the first initiatives that we launched in the Miller School was how do we engage students and get them to start businesses? Because I think one of the things that you do is you learn while you're starting a business. Just like like Compete on the Web, I learned so much stuff from that that then I could apply to future businesses and help students and all that. So learn by doing is really important to us in the Miller School. So the first year, and I bet you know this better than I do. The grand prize was $15,000.
$12,500 if you want to be exact.
Okay, 12,500. So 12,500 for first place, and I think total budget we probably spent $30,000 or something like that.
Like total prize pool
on the event, not prize pool total on the event.
Okay.
Prize spent
the actual total.
$30,000 to $40,000 on the whole thing.
Okay.
And first year we had 46 teams or so enter. And then it grew every year after that. It was in the 80s the second year. The third year was 101. Then it was like 126. And it was like 130. So it's just, we've seen a lot of growth with it.
What do you think made it so successful?
Having a great story to tell was good. We saw a lot of, in that first cohort, there was a lot of successful businesses that came out. And it was a really good experience for those who participated. And Taylor, do you want to mention?
Yeah, I am the first winner of the Power Entrepreneurship Challenge. So that's actually how we met. And I was literally telling my husband last night when I was prepping for this, I was like, I remember the day I met you. And if that hadn't happened, I would probably have never met Hannah. Business probably wouldn't have turned into what it is today, and we would not be sitting here. So that's kind of crazy.
It is really cool how that happened. And Hannah here also participated in the Pirate Challenge. Do you want to talk about your placement?
I got second place.
Nice. How much money did you win?
I got 10,000. Yeah,
It was probably 10,000.
I got 10,000 because
Nice.
first place fishing license got 15,000. Yes.
I hear from Pirate Challenge people almost every day.
Yeah,
So I'll get a
that's
text from
awesome.
somebody.
We have a few questions we ask everybody, and these are just kind of rapid fire. So let us know what you think. What is one small thing that has made a really big difference in your business?
Realizing that everyone that you talk to has expertise in something that you don't. So there's something to learn from everyone. I think that makes a big difference. Sometimes it's hard to sort out what you need to listen to from what people,
Right.
but everybody knows something if you ask the right question.
And what's one piece of technology that you can't live without for your business?
AI is huge now for anything related.
That's the AI queen over there.
Yeah, for
And her little
anything,
gems.
especially for fly high, I use AI for everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, I guess it would be, I guess this is more general, but knowing when to spend money and when to DIY something is something that's taken me a long time to learn. So I'm pretty cheap. Sometimes you just have to spend money. Yeah.
Besides your business, what's one passion or hobby that recharges your batteries?
Really like surfing. So I like wakeboarding, obviously, but I don't know that that's a good battery recharge. It's a little more intense, but surfing's
Cool. That's kind of, it's in the same neighborhood as wakeboarding.
yeah.
If someone was coming to visit Greenville for the first time, where would you take them?
Yeah, so I guess I might not should give this secret out, but especially if they have kids, we'll go down to Green Springs Park and find some fossils and shark teeth, and all the kids really like that.
I'm going to have to check that out. I've never been
Oh,
there.
you've not done that?
No.
Well,
Really?
we'll have to go down there and hunt some shark teeth.
Okay.
I love
I'm in.
shark's teeth.
Yeah.
And how can people find you online on social media?
So at Stream Fly High is probably the best way, and at the Wakeboard Cable, both on Instagram. Yeah, YouTube preferably not, but it's on there for sure. I won't tell you how to find that one.
All right. Well, David, thank you so much. And thank you, Hannah, for joining us today. I'm Taylor, and I appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next week.